I'm on the second largest cruise ship in the world for my first ever Royal Caribbean cruise. And there are some things I learned the hard way. This is what I wish I'd known before I sailed on Royal Caribbean. Okay, I just boarded Utopia of the Seas. We are officially on a Royal Caribbean cruise. Now I'm a Disney cruiser. I've been on every Disney cruise ship, many of them multiple times. I've never cruised on any other cruise lines. This is my first branching out, and I'm really curious to see how it goes. I'm really excited so far, and already, first impressions, things have caught me off guard. First of all, I know the ship is huge. I know it's twice as big as the biggest ship I've been on. It still shocked me walking out into what looked like a shopping mall just immediately upon boarding the ship. Absolutely wild. I just kind of looked and saw elevators and walked towards them to get to our room. I am here with one of my friends who's an editor for the DFB site. She'll be off camera, but we are doing this cruise sort of together. So we walked down to the elevators, took them up, and then found our room, which was a long walk, but the signage was very clear, very easy. And now I'm in the room, which I'm really impressed by. So let's take a look around it real quick, a little speedy little tour. So you walk in from your door here, which does have a deadbolt as well as a peephole. There is this map, very important with your routes to your assembly station, which you will need to head to when you get on board to go ahead and check in. It's just so you know where it is in case of an emergency. It's also where you'll get your life jacket. We're gonna head there next. That is the first must do on any cruise, is to do your muster. Little magnet for the door for if you don't want anyone to come in. And then just a reminder to make sure to close the balcony door before you open your front door because it can create a crazy draft. Full size mirror where you can see me do this. Nice. Then we have our vanity and our dresser here. Really smart use of space in this room. I'm just gonna actually go ahead and show you. It's about the size of like Disney cruise cabins that I've been in, but it does feel a little bit better laid out. Fewer folks can sleep in here, I believe, because this is a single and then we have two twins over there, separated. But basically you come in, you have a vanity here as well as a dresser. Your vanity has this nice, beautiful mirror with makeup lighting, which I love. Lots of outlets built in. Again, very new ship. Little reminder that your guide to the cruise, your navigator, aka your cruise compass, is on the app. So you really want that Royal Caribbean app. We'll talk a lot more about that. We've got a little welcome back Crown and Anchor Society because my friend who I'm staying with has cruised here before. Your remote for the TV and your nice desk chair. The full desk scenario is very nice. Disney cruises also have a vanity, but I like this one too. We've got a trash can, and your dresser has 4 smaller drawers that are this size. The top one is the home to your hair dryer, tissues, and a little note about disposing medical needles. And then your wider drawer is home to your breakfast menu because you can order breakfast continental to be delivered. You just leave this on your door at night. Breakfast menu here and with room service, and then your mini bar notes about how mini bar works. One thing we're going to be seeing a lot of is the different relationship this cruise has to alcohol compared to Disney. One of the biggest differences from Disney and other cruise lines is they don't offer beverage packages, which for some people is really important on a cruise. And I've never used a beverage package. I don't know that I would. And this trip, I'm going to use one to see if it's worth the spend and how it compares from an ease of use to like drinking and having fun on a Disney cruise. Because it also includes sodas, which are not included on this cruise like they are on Disney. And it includes specialty coffees, which as you may or may not know, I might have a caffeine addiction. You don't know. We have a mini fridge here, storing leftovers, little snacks. And then across the way, we have a lot more storage space here. We have a big standing wardrobe where you can hang up any items. And then this is a really big wardrobe. You've got your day bed here, which can be used as a sleeping spot, but also I love, like, we only have 2 folks, so having this just as a place to like sit and relax in your stateroom. Some cute little cruise artworks here, and then another little wardrobe space, hidden towel duck, incredible, with some shelving, your little in-room safe for valuables, and some more shelving below that, and then 2 larger drawers here, so a good amount of storage there. Now let's talk beds. So the room that we are in has 2 twin beds that can be pushed together and converted to a king. We did request that it be 2 separate twin beds, and they had it appropriately set up when we arrived, which is awesome. 2 pillows on each bed, nice cruise bedding, and then we have lamps and little mini tables in the middle that have like little mini bedside table little hutches. And then on this side, we have our room phone, again, little hutches, and then a QR code for scanning for housekeeping requests. Then we have our really cool window. So interestingly, this is an interior stateroom, but we are outside. I'll show you what I mean. So we have this big port window here that also has a door in it to take us out to our veranda. And I don't know how to work the door. Figured it out. But our veranda is a good size, not huge, but nice. 2 chairs out here as well as a table. We have privacy dividers and then this big glass veranda, and we are on an interior room, which means we're looking out into one of the park areas of the ship. Beautiful Central Park here. There's other verandas across from us, but you can see we are outside despite being at an interior room, which is an interesting, I was surprised. Finally, let's check out that bathroom. So the bathroom, I love the design. I'll wait till you see this. Little room thermostat. And then look at this. I think this is such a smart cruise design of a bathroom. The shower looks like super sleek and nice with this rounded glass door. You've got a shower head that is pretty high up. It is a step-in shower. There are accessible room options. This is not one of them, but the shower head is very high, which, like, I'm 5'9". This is plenty high for me. I think it would be plenty high for anybody up to about 6 feet. And this clothesline, I love they actually have this open because I think a lot of people don't know what that is. Dish for your toiletries, your Salt and Breeze hair and body wash. And then the ever important commode with some notes about it, plus a nice big mirror where you can see me do this. Towels, of course, sink, soap and soap dish, washcloths, a couple more notes about just bathroom use on a cruise, shelving here, and a shaving plug for razors, plus water glasses. Down below we have a little trash can, more amenities for the bathroom, and a toilet brush. Yeah, that's the room. I'm actually really impressed with it. I think the design is awesome. It makes sense, it's a newer ship. So really happy with this room and the way that they've used space in here. Good job, Utopia of the Seas. If you're watching, if you, the ship, are actually watching, I like it. But now for the first must-do of any cruise, the most important is our muster drill, where we learn what to do in case of a rare emergency. Very important, absolutely have to do it. Literally you have to, they will come find you if you don't. So let's go do that. You guys thought I forgot to do bed science, didn't you? Joke's on you, I did, but I remembered. Oh, I forgot to do my song. I'm overwhelmed, I'm on Royal Caribbean, okay? This was Royal Caribbean Bed Science with Quincy. This is pretty comfortable. Disney Cruise Line beds are my favorite beds on any sort of vacation place that I've been, except for maybe the Four Seasons beds. That's how much I love them. So I'm interested to see how this stands up. I do not feel I'll be able to judge until I get a full night's sleep. But first impressions, crowd pleaser mattress. It is firm and supportive, but plush enough that I'm sinking into it, that like all of me is touching the bed. The sheets feel very high quality, which is nice. I don't have any complaints on a first impression. Gotta try the pillows. I gotta say, the pillows look good. I'm excited about trying them out. Oh, I liked the way that felt when I just touched it. Yeah, I'm excited. Oh yeah. I'm a soft pillow gal, and this is like one of the softest pillows ever. My head's like sinking into this. My hat won't even stay on. This thing is plush. Look at the head sinkage on this guy. That's wild. You will not like this if you like firm pillows. Are they both this soft? Those are nice. Those feel like luxury vacation soft plush pillows. I quite like that. They're heavy as well. Yeah, good first impression on the bed. We'll do 8-hour bed science later and then multiple times because this is a cruise ship and I can't physically get off of it until they bring me back to Port Canaveral. Well, I can get off. We'll get off of it at other places, but I need to be returned to Port Canaveral. You get it. Let's go to the muster. So when you head to muster, you'll meet up with one of the cruise employees who will show you how to work a life jacket and let you know that if in the event of emergency, you'll hear 7 short blasts and 1 long blast, and to head to your muster station. Emergencies, I've been on many cruises and I've never had to go to my muster, but it's important that you know just in case. We've all seen Titanic. I always bring up Titanic on the first day of a cruise and everyone always yells at me, so sorry for doing that. Okay, we checked in for our muster. We'll be safe in the event of anything happening. And the other thing that we've been doing is getting our dining reservations. Now, I've learned some things the easy way, and I am going to be learning some things the hard way so that you don't have to when you were coming on a Royal Caribbean cruise. So one of the things I learned the hard way was we actually booked our cruise pretty close to when the cruise set sail. Great for a deal, not so great for getting good dining reservations, as those open well in advance of a cruise, as well as reservations for excursions and all those things like that. This cruise has a restaurant that I really wanted to do, which is a dinner show. It is a train restaurant where the restaurant looks like you're on a train. There's a Western dinner show. Really wanted to do that. It did book up. Learned that the hard way. But reservations do close after that early window, and they don't open up until you are on the ship's Wi-Fi. So once we were on the ship's Wi-Fi, we were able to make some more reservations for the specialty dining. Of course, at base, the cruise is all inclusive, and you get lots of dining around the ship included, but there's a lot of dining that is not included, a lot of options. And we're gonna try out a lot of that to see, one, if it is worth the splurge, how much better it is than the main dining, if the main dining holds up with the included dining. We're gonna figure all of that out. Trying out a drinks package, trying out the specialty dining, really trying to get a feel for Royal Caribbean in the biggest weekend. What is it called? The biggest weekend on the seas? I don't remember what it is. But it's a weekend getaway on a really, really big ship. We are not going to see it all. One thing to know about Utopia, the seas in particular, is that this is a huge cruise ship that sails very short itineraries. You will not see and do everything on the ship. But right now, I'm feeling like I haven't even seen a tiny piece of it. I think we should go on a little walk and explore the ship. Deck 1 is not accessible to the public. Deck 2 and 3 don't really have anything on them. So I think we're gonna go down to Deck 4 and then just work our way up and see what we see. Sounds like a fun activity to me. Another non-Disney thing is there is a casino on board, which is wild because gambling is legal at sea. Also, I find it very funny. There's a tech store, or Focus Photo Gallery actually has like photo and tech supplies. And there are DJI showing off situations where they show off the DJI, which is the camera we use to record. So, I don't know. I guess I could go to that and learn about my own camera. But now this is something that is one of my pro tips whenever I do a Disney cruise, is to go on a walk and get yourself acquainted with the ship. Just make mental notes of spots that look interesting to you. You can probably do in advance for smaller ships. I've definitely read up on what the ship has to offer, but it is so much that it's a little hard to know everything. I'm gonna stop yapping for a second because the music is gonna be too loud through here, but let's just see what we see. One thing we're really gonna be checking out is the entertainment, like here in the Royal Theater. Disney's entertainment is top tier Broadway quality storied stage shows, and Royal Caribbean is known for having some pretty awesome entertainment. So we'll see what we get to see. One thing that speaks to how big this cruise ship is, when you're on a Disney cruise and you look for a reminder in your app, in your navigator, they usually give you the reminder, I think 15 minutes, 10 or 15 minutes in advance. I just got one for 25 minutes in advance to give me time to get there. 25! But we're going to the sail away party in 25 minutes. It tells you what day it is in the floors in the elevator. That's crazy. It says it's Friday. That's crazy.
Screen, we're going to count down from 10 to 0. Then the sail away officially begins. So here we go, party people. Count down with me in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's party time!
I went to a sail away party. It was very exciting, very different from Disney. Disney has like Mickey dancing. This was like, obviously the recreation dancers dancing. And they were awesome, very high energy. The deck was like lit, honestly. The wobble, Cupid shuffle, cha-cha slide, the whole shebang. Every cruise line dance you can think of. Very high energy. Wish I had a drink in my hand for it. But I'm going back down to continue my exploration that I was doing. Now that I've seen sail away. I've got dinner later. Very exciting dinner. I'm kind of going in to the cruise with a bang. And also, I have to go to the gym at some point. And we'll figure that out, I guess. Okay, I'm back on deck 6 now. A couple of Crown and Anchor. This bar is a nice, more relaxed vibe on the schooner bar. But this is the real star, the real thing that I really want to see. On deck 6 is the Boardwalk. This is a neighborhood of the ship that is designed to look like a Boardwalk amusement park. Like a North Boardwalk. There's a carousel. Ooh, and hot dogs. Do I get a hot dog? Wait, there's a Zoltar machine. There's also a Johnny Rockets and a sports bar. And this is the Ultimate Abyss, aka the tallest dry slide at sea. There's also a rock climbing wall that I think we're kind of near. Oh, you know what we're near? Is the Aqua Theater, where the Aqua 82 stunt water show on the ship happens. That's right back here. We are definitely aiming to catch that because that sounds dope as I'll get out. Oh, and there's the rock climbing wall. Holy moly. Now there is a kids club on this ship, as well as an escape room. That's not the kids club. Adventure Ocean is the kids club. So your kiddos can have supervised play at this spot. Even the babies as well, which is cool. Ship tour complete, couple surprises there, and we got to see some of the cool features of the ship, like the flow rider, which is that thing that girls boogie boarding on. You can also surf on it. I was thinking I was gonna do that, but seeing it, I might be a little too scared to do it. I feel like I'm gonna fall and it's gonna hurt, and I'm not spry, so probably skip on that. But cool ship. I went ahead and worked out. A really nice gym with a ton of space. A lot of people can be working in there at once. And I changed back in to my dress. Little cruise tip for you. Typically for dinner, there are themed nights. So check your navigator before you pack. For instance, tonight is red night. I'm not going to the main dining room, so I don't know how many people we're going to see in red, but that's why I wore red to board today. And I just changed out of my chacos into heels for a little extra pizzazz, because we're going to a pretty nice place for dinner. So we had to. Also, very important, we have the drink package. So we got it. It was $400 a person, and you do have to get the drink package for everybody in your stateroom. So we have 2 people in our stateroom. We had to pay $400 for each of us. One of us just couldn't get it. You get this refillable cup that works with the Coca-Cola Freestyle machines on board when you have the drink package. So you get that free soda. And then you also get this little sticker right here, that guy. And you put it on your room key, well, this is really important actually. It's your whole Royal Caribbean access pass, everything. You need this, bring it everywhere, don't lose it. But this little sticker shows them that you have the deluxe drink package, and that means you can get a drink at the bars just by using this. Pretty cool. But we are headed down to Central Park because we are headed to an omakase. That's right, a full sushi omakase dinner, chef guided, right here on the ship. I believe it was $170, which is actually not bad for an omakase. So we'll see if the quality holds up. I'm going to be going to a lot of the specialty dining to see if it's worth it to pay for the specialty dining over the main dining. And on top of that, which specialty dining is best to pay for over the main dining. There are a ton of options. Like on Disney, there's like 2 specialty dining options, and it's like pretty easy to decide. On this, there's like 10 plus. nice specialty sit-down restaurants, 10-ish. So we've got to evaluate. But let's go have an omakase. Stomps. Okay, I just finished my omakase. Overall, I really enjoyed that. It was not the best, like, upscale Japanese meal I've had. My favorite one is Takumite, which is an Epcot that I've had. And I've had some really wonderful food in Japan that wasn't even upscale and was just stellar. That said, this was a really cool experience for a very reasonable price. It's $130, which is cheap for an omakase. Omakase is typically, I would expect them to be $150-ish. So very inexpensive, private for that rate, which is wild. And everything I had was really delicious. The chef came out and greeted me, and I have to say I would 100% recommend this if you're a fan of Japanese food, particularly because they were explaining to me that this is the only omakase in the Royal Caribbean fleet, and they would love to bring it to other ships. So the more folks that partake in the omakase and give positive feedback, the more they can bring it around, and it is such a unique experience. My biggest problem with it was that the environment, you're sitting in this small area that is very close to the hibachi. You could hear all of the teppanyaki antics from that very upscale private space. So the environment wasn't quite upscale enough to match the quality of the service and the quality of the food, which were spectacular, especially for the price. So I would recommend that. I think particularly, and you have to be into Japanese food, you have to be into sushi. It's a lot of raw fish, but just a really great meal. I am stuffed, but I don't feel bad. And the beverage package works in every single restaurant on board, including that upscale omakase. So I got to try one of their specialty cocktails. I got to have a nice green tea to finish my meal. Wonderful experience. I am gonna go lay down for a little bit and digest, because I am headed to a show tonight. We're gonna see if we can head and see the ice skating show. Hopefully we can. We've got to, I think, make a reservation for it. So I'm gonna try to do that, and then we'll go to the ice skating show. And I'm worried I'm going to be learning something the hard way again, and then we're not going to get into it. But cross your fingers for me. Okay, we are back out and about because we're here to see an ice show called Utopia, spelled Y-O-U, Utopia. And this is an stunt ice show that happens in here. Now, fun fact, something I've learned, I thought it was going to be the hard way. This show does say reservations required, and reservations were completely gone by today, so I didn't get a reservation. Oh no! Except for the fact that we walked up, we said, hey, we don't have reservations. They said, come on in, it's open seating. And we said, all right, so we're in. We get to watch Utopia, the ice show, on this ice skating rink. Now on a floating bar, heading to Central Park. It's a bar that starts on level 5 and moves up to level 8, just like an elevator, but with alcohol. Saw the ice show. The reservations required was a lie. It was open seating. Pro tip, you can just go in. And it was awesome, so awesome that we want to see it again. We'll have more to say when we're not near copyrighted music. Back at the room. Interesting evening tonight. We saw Utopia, which we are both obsessed with. It was incredible. I have not seen many ice skating shows in my time. I've seen a handful. Sure. This was my favorite. I loved it. It was so good. The stunts were awesome. It was like the songs they chose, and there were so many costumes. They did have a point where they went from Pure Imagination from Willy Wonka directly into Candy Shop.
Yeah.
Which was really...
Like full on 50 Cent.
Yeah, like, I'll take you to the candy shop.
They did not get into any non-family friendly lyrics.
No, it was all family friendly. The performers were awesome, so engaging. There was a girl who every time they came out, I was like, here comes the girl they throw around. And they threw her around. There were like stunts. There was one of those guys that climbs chairs very high to the ceiling, literally to the ceiling. It was incredible. We literally want to see it again. We're going to go again, and we're going to sit in the front row in the center. What's crazy about it is it said reservations were required, and we walked up and we were like, hey, there were signs by the theater that said reservations are required. we were like, hey, we don't have reservations. And they were like, come in, it's open seating. And then there were tons of empty seats. So I think that some people might not have seen it because they thought they had to have a reservation and it looked like reservations weren't available. So just go check physically if there's something you really want to see before you give up. Similar with the Aqua show, we don't have reservations. I found a little note hidden in the app that said that 10 minutes prior to the show, they open up empty seats to those that don't have reservations. So don't give up, even if you don't have reservations for things. After that, we went to Rising Tide, which is a bar that rises through the ship, going from level 5 to level 8, like an elevator while you're drinking. We passed Schooner's Bar on the way up, and they said, we heard the piano man going, let's see if we can get him to do it. Who on the Rising Tide will stand up and chug their drink? And a man did it. So there was a lot of activities happening. The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was there, and he was falling over. So really interesting evening so far. And by so far, I mean the evening has been interesting because we are going to bed. Because it is, my watch is dead. What time is it?
It's
23:29.
Yes, 11:30, and we have an early day.
We have an early day.
Perfect day at Coco Cay.
Perfect day at Coco Cay. Their private island, which I'm really excited to see because it looks wild, and we of course have to compare it to Disney's Castaway Cay and Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. So bright and early, we're going to be on Coco Cay. Say that 3 times fast. So good night. We'll see you in the morning. All right, we did get the breakfast that you can order. Basically, you just leave your little breakfast hanger on the door, and they bring it to you at the time you request. So ours was here right at 7, which was too early, but I put that on there, so I reaped what I sowed. We've got the oatmeal here, which I was so excited that their like complimentary breakfast delivery has oatmeal, because typically on Disney cruises it's just like bagels and fruit and like maybe yogurt. Got some coffee, some jam, and a couple of different pastries are in here, but just a perfect start to the day without even having to get up really, and your breakfast arrives. And now we're headed down to the gangway, which is on level 2. So called an elevator, waiting for it. It's gonna be elevator C. And then we're gonna walk out onto the island. And I'm really excited about it because the pictures of it look wild. So I don't know what to expect. Very clear signage. Notice that that's a theme. It's pretty easy to navigate, even though the ship is huge, because there's always just signage that makes it easy. You do pick up your towel at the gangway. Don't forget to do that. You can trade them out on the island, but you want to grab them at the gangway here. Getting off the ship. Oh, it's kind of cloudy. We've made it. We've made it to Perfect Day on Coco Cay. It's very exciting. There's live music. There are dancers right when you get onto the island. The first thing you see is this huge water slide tower with what looks like an extremely scary water slide. The tall red one, scary to me. This is Thrill Water Park. It is a actual full water park. You can see a bit in there how many slides there are. There are tons. This is an extra charge. I believe it's $15. You just scan your C pass to head in and enjoy the water park. If you're under 14, you do need someone over 14 with you. And what's really cool, I noticed, is they have a weather cancellation policy where you can actually get a refund if there's extreme weather, depending on how long the weather happens. It might be a partial refund or a full refund, which I think is really great and considerate. So this here is Thrill Water Park. We're not gonna head in there because there's too much island to see, and also the slides do scare me. And I live in Orlando and have a lot of access to water parks, but I love that it's an option because it does look really all-encompassing as water parks go. And there's also this splash pad that looks like a whole pirate ship, and this is definitely one of those things where I feel like I wish I was a child and it was more acceptable for me to go hog wild playing on one of these. First impressions of Coco Cay, I really have been impressed so far. We've only seen one section. We're in the Chill Beach area, and we've checked out Chill Grill, which is one of the 2 main buffet lunch spots on the island. Only open 11:30 to 3, so make sure you don't miss lunch. Happens to me on Castaway Cay quite a bit. Really love the island so far. It feels super like relaxing, and there are 2 ships here. The Freedom of the Seas is also here, and it does not feel overly crowded at all. Tons of beach chairs are available. The water is clear blue, beautiful. You can see the ships in the distance. The water park looked really fun. So I am really impressed by the island so far. We have a lot more to see before I really finish judging it, but my first impression is very great, and the buffet is awesome. On a Disney cruise, I love the food on board and I hate the food on Castaway Cay. It is not good. The buffet visually looked very good, and there was a taco section. So it wasn't like weird basic buffet food like it is on Castaway Cay. I have a little mini taco bowl on my plate. And it's good. They had 10 different hot sauces, tons of topping, flour or corn tortillas. They had burgers and hot dogs, and then a sandwiches section that had this portobello mozzarella sandwich. Here's how you expect, kind of like an eggplant parm. Really impressed with the private island buffet. In options and flavor, killing it. They also have a soft serve ice cream machine, which you know is where I'm headed for dessert. All right, little check-in. I've explored pretty much the whole island, which has taken a long time and you do not need to do on the ship. Because I recommend getting to the spot where you want to get as early as possible. Grab yourself a chair and hang in there for the day when you're headed to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. Unless you're headed to the water park or want to do some of the sports. South Beach is awesome because it has a floating bar, which is really cool. There's lots of activities all around the island, including a zip line. Do some research in advance about how you want to spend your Coco Cay day so that you can actually have plenty of time to do so once you get here. You can see how much bigger our ship is than the other Royal Caribbean ship that's docked here. I didn't do much hanging out for Perfect Day on Coco Cay because my goal was actually to see everything the island has to offer and particularly compare it to Disney's private islands and private island destination that I've been to. I really liked Coco Cay. I liked it better than either of Disney's locations. I thought that there was more to do. There were a lot of options. You could play beach volleyball or soccer, billiards. You could go to the snack stands or the buffets. There were tons of different bars. Your drink package works on the island. Your Wi-Fi works on the island. The water was beautiful. There were so many different beaches, so you could definitely find one where the vibe was right for you. A couple of things to note. One, this island is mostly sand, so you are walking in sand most of the day. It is packed sand. It's not like you're walking in deep sand, but that's something to be aware of if you have mobility concerns or if you have a texture issue with sand. Emma hates the feeling of sand, and so I would tell her to wear closed-toed shoes on this island because you were walking in sand all day. I got so much sand on my feet. They also don't have any great IP for the kids. Now your kids probably won't care because there's a pirate ship splash pad, and if you pay to send them into the water park, they are probably gonna have a blast. But if your kids love Disney characters, then Disney is gonna have Disney characters. This doesn't really, Royal Caribbean doesn't have any really big IP. They have a few little IP things like their own superheroes and stuff like that, but I didn't even see a presence of anything really on the island today. I don't think there is a staffed kids club on the island. So if you go to the island, your kids are your responsibility, which, maybe you plan to spend your day with the kids on the island, maybe you don't. And if you don't really have a ton of options here. The biggest negative to this island is the adults only beach, Hideaway Cove, has an entry fee. It is $94 per person. It's a whole private area with tons of bars and different restaurants and live music, and it seemed really fun, but $94 per person is the entry fee for that. I would be cool with this if there were a different non-paid adults only beach, but since this is the adults only area and you have to pay $94 to get in, I'm a little less cool with it. South Beach was super fun, had a little bit more of a grown-up vibe. A lot of the younger adults were hanging out there, jamming to music and playing the games and doing the floating bar, which was really cool. It's just that $94 charge for the adults only area, a little rough. On Disney's Island, the adults only area is just as included as everywhere else. Something else I liked about this is there were a lot of different ways that you could pay to upgrade your experience if you wanted to, and I liked the variety in that. So though I didn't love the charge on the adults only beach, there were day beds for rent, which I thought was great, as well as different levels of cabanas. So there were on-beach cabanas and over-water cabanas. And then there was another, the Cocoa Beach Club upcharge area as well. So a lot of different upcharges you could do to sort of decide what you wanted to do. I think next time if I go, I'll do some research on those options and maybe pick the one that works the best for me. But I would want to budget for it in advance and not decide well on the ship. So, especially because it looks like the cabanas were booked up. So you want to know that in advance. But overall, Coco Cay was a really incredible destination. I loved it as a cruise private island port. And I 100%, if that is a selling point for you, if the cruise's island is a selling point, CocoCay rules. It rules. It's like my DFB editor friend who I'm here with says that CocoCay is one of the better ones that she's been to, and she's been on tons of cruises. So really liked CocoCay, except for those couple little issues. Now we're back on the ship. As you can see, I've changed into white because it is white night, where everybody's going to be wearing white. We're doing dinner and main dining today. So we are doing the included dinner restaurant, which I'm excited about because we're going to see how the quality of the food holds up when you don't pay the specialty dining upcharge. But before that, I thought maybe we go put that drink package to use. I do not think I'm going to get my money's worth. I'm just not heavy enough of a drinker. And at $400 for the 3-night cruise, it's like $100 a day-ish, including embarkation and debarkation day. I just don't know that I'm going to be able to get my money's worth. I think I'm up to like a tenth of what the package is worth. But I like the ease of it. You know, this was free. This is Powerade. So that's cool. But yeah, let's go check out one of the bars. Just finished dining at Main Dining, which is the included restaurant. Wonderful service. The service here is just as good as a Disney cruise. I cannot note any differences at all. It's incredible. The food was pretty good. It was kind of like a good chain restaurant, like Outback Steakhouse. I stole that directly from our off-screen producer, so thank you for that. But it was quality. I really enjoyed my pork chop. It wasn't the most fine cut of meat, but the menu item was well done with great toppings and a nice level of spice that was pleasant. Good sides. I loved having plantains, so that was really tasty. My dessert tasted a bit like Publix cake, if not a little bit worse. It reminded me of cafeteria cake, which is still good. I mean, cake is cake, but it just wasn't anything standout. I think to get really standout food on this cruise, you're going to want specialty dining, but we're going to try a bit more specialty and a bit more non-specialty to really nail that down. Right now, we've got more entertainment to do. Will it hold up to the ice skating show? Hard to say, because that was a 10 out of 10 for me, but we'll find out. I can't remember the last time I talked to you guys. Was it after dinner? Yes. It's been a long time since then, and it's been a whirlwind, let me tell you. So we went to the feature show on the ship, which is called All In, which was a stage show. And unlike a Disney cruise where you might see Broadway-style shows that are based in story, the shows on this ship are not based in story. They're really variety acts, a lot of dancing. This one had live singing. There were aerialist performers, and just like cool costumes, lasers. Like, it's just entertaining. It's not necessarily like a wonderful story that is beloved like Beauty and the Beast, but you are entertained. For 45 minutes, you're entertained. And in the biggest wow moment for this was there was a part where they had drones flying over the audience for real in a cruise ship theater. And I was like, well, that was awesome. And that was probably the highlight of my night. Wrong. We then went to Aqua 82, which is the water stunt show that is on the ship. They have a high dive, aerialist stunt dance water show. And I sat down at the water show and I was like, well, you know, I've seen the ice show. I've seen the feature show. I just don't think they can wow me anymore. I was wrong. I spent that whole show wowed. It was like another 45 minutes of me being wowed, and it was just unbelievable. The stunts they were doing were insane. We were on a ship and they were doing high dives from like the top of the ship down to like deck 5. It was insane. And they were flying around over the audience and like flipping around. It was so cool. Every single one of those shows I would say is a must do. If I had to rank them, I would go Aqua 82, Utopia, the ice show, and then All In. So if you have to cut one, cut All In, but all of them were worth seeing. And I love seeing 2 in one night. I mean, again, tonight just felt like off-screen producers nodding behind the camera.
Yes.
Tonight just felt like a whirlwind of entertainment that like non-stop fun. And like, I haven't had that feeling in a long time, like of actually truly nonstop fun. Like typically there's a line I'm waiting in or like a breath I'm taking for a break. And this was literally from the second we stepped out of dinner to right now, just fun. Because after Aqua 82, we headed to our next activity, which was an onboard game show for adults only called Crazy Quest. We really wanted to try this one because Disney does have adults only entertainment on their ship, and it's pretty tame. Like, I think most 13-year-olds, you wouldn't have a problem letting your 13-year-old into those shows. This was not that. It was not that, ladies and gentlemen. You do have to be 18 to see this game show, and with good reason. There was a lot of like sexual jokes. There was nudity legitimately on the ship.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it was a very adult show. It was like raucously funny. The whole room was like alive and loving it. And it was an hour-long experience. And when he said that, I was like, oh God, an hour-long game show. Went by like that. And I was having a blast the whole time, screaming my head off. So much fun. Absolutely a must-do. When we got there, they asked who's seen Crazy Quest before. And tons of people in the room went wild. And immediately you could tell, like, oh, this is a popular thing. With good reason. Highly recommend Crazy Quest. Just be prepared for it to be on the raunchy side at times. And then that went seamlessly into the Resolution Dance Party, which is the club experience for tonight, where they recommend you wear white because it's a projected dance floor and the projections can go on white, like show up on white clothes really well. So they tell you to wear white so that everybody on the dance floor looks like they're like projected on. And the game show went seamlessly into that. So the dance floor literally started packed. They had us doing the wobble. Wasn't planning on doing the wobble tonight, and I did. Like it was non-stop, like from, I mean, what do you think? What time do you think we got out of dinner? 8:30?
Mm-hmm.
8:30 to 12:30. Non-stop entertainment, non-stop fun. A lot of these things said they needed reservations or accepted reservations. We didn't have a single reservation and had no issue getting seats, even walking up like 5 minutes prior to like Aqua 82. It's just seamlessly run. I mean, really, really, we were impressed with how the flow of entertainment moves on this ship. It's the theaters don't get full, and it doesn't feel like super stressful to hit things because a lot of the shows happen multiple times during your sailings. Like Utopia happened yesterday. It also happens tomorrow. I think Aqua 82 happened yesterday, and it happened tonight. And they have 2 shows each night of these shows. So there's plenty of opportunity to see stuff. And because of that, like, it's pretty easy to actually get in and see these shows. It was just the most fun night. Like, and I truly would have told you this was not my scene. I would have told you I would prefer a Broadway style show over variety entertainment. I would have told you I'm not interested in like a super loud, noisy game show or a super loud, noisy dance floor. And I honestly had so much fun. If I didn't have to wake up and be coherent and do food reviews in the morning, I would 100% still be dancing at Resolution Dance Party. Cannot say enough about this. It was wonderful. If you are a grown-up looking for a cruise where you're going to have a blast, where you're going to have a party, Royal Caribbean knows what they're doing. That said, I'm going to bed because I do have to do food reviews in the morning. In fact, we have a really exciting one tomorrow where we're going to do a taste of specialty dining around the ship. And I got a letter to my stateroom explaining the menu. It sounds pretty exciting. So we're going to do that in the morning. So I will see you then, and good night. Good morning. Okay, it's pretty late, I'll be honest. Not like super late, but it's like, 10:30. I had a little sleep in, which is something you're allowed to do on vacation. So do it. Oh my gosh, look how bright it is outside. Look how pale it's making me. My first timed activity today is we're going to do a meal that is really cool that they offer on the ship. This is offered just like, you can book it just like a regular restaurant reservation, but it's basically a taste of a bunch of different specialty dining on the ship. I think it's a little weird. I guess they probably offer it every day. I booked it for the final day, so it's like I'm sampling some specialty dining that I won't get to try. So that's pretty cool. That is at noon, and I figured beforehand we could do a little bit of a relaxing vibe. Maybe go hang out in Central Park a bit. I really like that area, and I feel like we haven't been able to go down there. So I don't know. I might find a coffee or something and do a little like relax in Central Park, and then stroll on into our dining reservation. And I think we're gonna check out some pool activities this afternoon. I was going to do the flow rider, but I really am too scared. It looks really scary, but I'm hoping to maybe catch some people doing some surfing on it. So we can actually watch like advanced surfers surfing on the flow rider. I assume there are people here who can surf. I am not one of them. Anyway, lots of fun on our final day on the ship here. This is our sea day. So basically, if you haven't cruised before, what you'll notice is that on port days, a lot of stuff closes on the ship while a lot of people go to port. You don't have to go to port. You can stay on the ship. Just know that as much stuff might not be open. On sea days, the ship's alive. Everything's open. Everybody's on board. I'm really curious to see how crowded it is because something we've noticed is that the ship crowd flow is very good. We haven't felt super crowded at times. And according to the cruise staff, the ship is at about like 6,000 out of 7,000 on capacity, like about 86% capacity. And I would have told you closer to 60 or 70%. So crowd flow, I think, is very good. So I'm curious about it with today, everybody being on board, trying to enjoy the pools and stuff. So we're going to look at how crowded it is. But let's go hang out in Central Park. Okay, our lovely Central Park sit was an awesome way to start the day, honestly, and lots of folks are out here doing the same. But it is time for me to head to my lunch reservation, that specialty event where we're going to taste a lot of the specialty dining. For me, it is located at 150 Park, which is obviously one of the Central Park restaurants. So let's go try out some more of the specialty dining, see what might be worth the spend. Okay, I went and acquired a coffee, and now I'm sitting at the Aqua Theater. That dinner, lunch, whatever we just did, was fine. I would say the standouts food-wise were, I don't know, all the food was honestly pretty good and I think worth an upcharge. I was really interesting that they showed us a food item from Wonderland, which is a restaurant they don't have on the ship. They have on other ships that is kind of a unique gastronomic Alice in Wonderland upscale spot. And that tuna tartare was really good. I wasn't expecting it to be. But yeah, I mean, it was a really nice lunch. I think that next time, I don't know that I recommend that event in particular. I did it to be able to get a sense of all the different restaurants, and I'm glad I did. But I think that you should just pick the restaurant that sounds best to you and go to that instead of doing like this taste of the specialty dining experience. A pro tip that I've learned is if you do want to do specialty dining, doing it as a lunch reservation makes reservations a little bit easier to get and means it's less likely to interrupt entertainment things that you want to be doing in the evening. So that's cool. For dinner, you can basically either have the early dinner, the late dinner, or my time dining, which is where you can dine on your time. But I do recommend doing reservations for that. So honestly, just for ease, we just went with the late dining. Regardless, I'm getting a pretty good sense of food on this ship, and I like it. I'm impressed. I would put it about equal with Disney food. There's just more options, which is something to consider. I think we're going to try to do both our main dining included dinner tonight and Chopped Steakhouse, which is their like palo. They have a Chopped Steakhouse on every ship, whereas Disney has a palo on every ship. So we're going to try Chopped Steakhouse tonight and see how that holds up. I technically had a sample of their surf and turf at lunch, and I'm going to be honest, it was not my favorite filet mignon. But I don't want that to reflect because I wasn't at Chopped. I was in a different kitchen with a different culinary team, different galley. So we'll see how Chopped holds up. Mostly though, this is just a chill day. I'm sitting at the Aqua Theater right now, having a coffee, reading my book, which is really nice. I think I'm gonna go have one of those beers that I had from Bells and Barley yesterday. That's the cool thing, is when you find the things you like, you can just kind of keep returning to them. Something I've been super impressed with is this ship is apparently at 86% capacity, and you can always find pool chairs. The bars are all lively, but not overly crowded, whereas at Disney, it feels like the bars are either dead or slammed, and there is no in between. Here, all the bars are at like the perfect, exciting, but not so slammed that it's unenjoyable level at all the time, even really late night. Like there was salsa dancing going on at Boleros last night that looked so fun. So I think I'm gonna do that for a bit, and then we have to go pick up our toga because it's toga night, and they distribute togas and teach you how to tie them. They give you a sheet. So we have to do that as well. Okay, I took a nap, and now we're in the sports zone observing sports. Don't worry, I'm not attempting. But they're doing advanced surfing on the Flow Rider, and it's pretty cool. All right, before we go to dinner, it's time for a bit more relaxing in the sun, kind of, in the solarium. This is the adults only area on the ship with whirlpools. If you're a grown-up, about 18 plus, the most peaceful whirlpools are in here, and many of them do have ocean views, which is awesome. This part of the ship is definitely supposed to have a more chill vibe. There's so much seating, and I saw people knocked out here earlier. Like a lot of people were knocked out in here. There is a bar where we grab espresso martinis, which are not on the menu, but you can get any drink that is $14 or less is included in your drink package, and if you get something that's more expensive, you just pay the difference. It's a pretty good espresso martini. Actually, it's like surprisingly good. Did you try this yet?
Yes.
It's like really good. All the drinks on the ship have been, they mix them for you to order, not pre-mixed, which is awesome. Because you, like with a drink package, you just never know. But yeah, sit here, have a little pre-dinner drink, and then we're doing double dinner. That's what they call it in the biz. Dinner one is done. We went to the main dining room. Now we're headed to the second. love chocolate cake, but I got it for science. Don't say I'm not dedicated to the sciences. That's good. Toga it up. We tied our togas the boy way because it seemed more comfortable than the girl way. The girl was like a halter. We got 2 tutorials when we picked up our toga sheets earlier.
Like professionally produced video
video tutorials. So now we're going to a silent toga disco. And I'll tell you, it is very late. It's about 10:45. And we're getting off the ship at 6:30. So everything should go very well in the morning. Good morning. It's debarkation day and I'm tired. It's like 7 a.m. And this is when they're very nice about it, but they do want you to get off. Off-screen, producer went to the buffet this morning and they were playing Wake Me Up Before You Go on a loop, which is really giving you don't have to go home.
Get out vibes.
Get out. I hope you're irritated enough to leave. All right, there's 2 different ways you can disembark. You can disembark with self-assist or you can get their luggage assist. Luggage assist, you'll get a timed departure. With self-assist, you can leave any time after the gangway opens. We just did self-assist and it was so easy. Literally walked right up, no lines, scanned our C-Pass, got off the ship, and now I'm on the gangway, unfortunately. And we're leaving Utopia of the Seas. Overall, as someone who has done many Disney cruises, I think Royal Caribbean made a great first impression. Personally, if I were going to book a cruise without having kiddos with me, I think I would lean Royal Caribbean, at least for a shorter length cruise like this weekend. For a longer cruise, I might start to consider Disney. But as an adult without kids, Royal Caribbean really does have a lot of entertainment that I really and truly enjoyed. One thing to note is that the entertainment doesn't have as much of a story as it does on Disney, but the talent was so incredible. My jaw was dropping all the time with the entertainment. Also, the logistics of the cruise flowed really smoothly. There were several times where I walked by bars and bars were full, but there were seats available, but there were no bars that were dead. And the way that one activity flew into another made everything very seamless and you could really focus on the fun, where sometimes you end up in overly crowded spaces or overly dead spaces when you're on a Disney ship. I do miss the Disney theme because I do love it, but considering the price difference between Disney, more expensive, and Royal Caribbean, which is a little bit more affordable, I do think that if I were going to book a cruise right now, I would book Royal Caribbean. That said, Disney is far and away better from a kid's perspective, and if you are taking little kiddos on a cruise, I would splurge for Disney. If you're still here, like this video and drop this secret code in the comments so I know you made it all the way. And don't forget to subscribe. We upload tips, games, info, and more from cruise ships and beyond 7 days a week because we're serious about fun here. Thanks for watching. See you next time.